Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Quinn, and I am pumped to be this year's MC for the Hall of Fame City Comic Con. And one of the biggest perks of being an MC is I get to give you guys a sneak peek of our guest this year. And this man that I'm about to talk to, he's like the Michael Caine of cartoons and video games. He has been in everything, huge pop culture roles that are still relevant to this day, and you've probably heard him voice a ton of other cartoons and characters and had no idea it was him. Without further ado, Rob Paulsen. Rob, oh my gosh, thank you so much for joining me right now. Thank you so much.
Well, hello, Sarah. Greetings from the water tower. As you are so lovely and talented and smart, you get free tickets to the water tower for the rest of your life. Unless, of course, you're arrested getting on the lot, then you're on your own.
I'll find a way.
All right.
I'll grab Wacko's gag bag and I will find a way.
Good idea.
Oh my gosh, Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. You have been in everything. Animaniacs, Pinky, Brain, Hysteria. My godsons now watch shows with you in it, so I get to bond with them over that. You've been in everything.
I have, except jail, but the day's not over. So we'll see. No, and I have to say that right there, the fact that you are sharing this with your young nephews is the best part of this gig. And I think it speaks to how deeply people connect with these characters to the extent that they want to share them. And you can watch old episodes of Pinky and the Brain and Animaniacs. The new ones are terrific too, but those shows really hold up. They're kind of like, in my view, like Looney Tunes, and to the extent that I recall very clearly watching Looney Tunes with my mom and dad and siblings many years ago back in Detroit. And Bugs is now 80. And you can watch Bugs and Daffy all day long, man. They're great stuff. So yeah. Thank you very much. It's a high compliment that you would do that.
Yeah, no, it's what's crazy too is you're right. It's with now back in Hulu and stuff like that. Yakko and all those characters are just iconic. They're timeless.
Thank you.
And they're actually, it's the only series that I own a box set of.
Oh. Are you kidding me?
No, I should have had it right here. It cost me over $100 because it's so rare to get every single box set. But it's the only series I own the entirety of.
Oh man, that's seriously, that's a really big deal. I've had the good fortune, obviously, of finding a way to make a living doing essentially what got me in trouble in 7th grade.
Me too.
Yeah, isn't it great? Look at that smile. And by the way, I have to say this again, folks. Look at that lovely woman's hair. Oh my God. You look fantastic.
Only cost me $20.
See, I have a face for cartoons. You look like a movie star. But no, it's when you're lucky enough to do something that you would do for free, you've kind of won the lottery. When you get to do something that you love and they pay you for it, you've really found something. But then when you get to do something you love, you find a way to get paid for it. And then nice people like you down the road, many years say, oh my God, I love this stuff. That really means something. It means that it's way bigger than my paycheck. It's way bigger than a rating point. It's about a pure connection that nice folks like you have all over the world. And that really is what we strive for as performers, to do something that long after your dust, people say, God damn it, I just love watching Ninja Turtles or Animaniacs or whatever it is. So thank you very much. That's really kind.
No, and it's true. Like, I'm gonna try not to talk so much about Yakko, but it really was when I was
far away.
when I was young, I was the odd one out. I was the theatrical one, but it wasn't cool in the 90s and in the early 80s to be that. It wasn't cool. And Yakko made it okay. He made it cool. He made it cool to be the older weird sibling that also takes care of the rest. And that's what I was. I was the oldest, weirdest cousin and sibling. And
Oh, that's
so,
so
so it's like it normalized being weird and being yourself. And that was okay.
Well, that's great. And it's wonderful to hear that, because now being weird is cool and everybody has a tattoo. And right. And everybody is on YouTube and coming up with all these bizarre, wacky, fun, utterly unencumbered by your own tendency to be embarrassed or whatever. It's just, are you kidding me, man? I'm going to swing for the fences. My God, Barack Obama gave an interview to a woman whose gig was sitting in a tub full of cereal.
I know.
Right? So all bets are off. And I love that. It's great to be in a world, to be sure, there's a lot of weird stuff too, but to be in a place now where being creative, being weird or odd or whatever is encouraged. I love that. So many people have found wonderful new ways to make a living in a context that was never available 20 years ago. And so that's very cool.
Yeah. And like, to your point, TikTok is like, oh my God.
Right?
It's like the birthplace of weird.
Oh, well said. That should be a tagline. TikTok, the birthplace of weird. Spot on. And you're right. And I encourage that, because if I had been, and people like my friends, Nancy Cartwright, Billy West, Frank Welker, Maurice LaMarche, Tress McNeil, if all of us had been concerned about appearing a little bit nutty, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
It's great that you're doing that.
Yeah. Do you now? I think I followed you. Didn't you recently make a TikTok? Like, was it?
I do. Well, I recently joined TikTok. Well, I don't know, year and a half ago, maybe. I joined. My wife had said, God, one of the characters I did years ago was a character that people freak out over now, especially folks a little bit younger. And it's a guy named Carl Weezer from Jimmy Neutron Toy Genius. And look what happens to your beautiful face when this weird guy, you think it's weird? You should see it from my side, Sarah. And that happens all the time. And so my wife said, you're not going to believe this, but there are a whole bunch of people who doing Carl Weezer impressions on TikTok. So I checked that out, and there were like 300 million Carl impressions. So yeah, I joined it, and I post probably not as often as I should, but I post, I don't know, every week or two. I think that I would probably be able to be more effective were I able to, or had I chosen to post more often. And I think I'm going to start doing that, because I have a brand new website that I've been working on for months. I'm going to be offering, real-time chats with fans. They love that over StreamYard, or Zoom. And I've been doing more coaching in the last couple of years. So I'm going to start doing online coaching, and I really love it. I truly, honestly, Sarah, did not know how many people would be interested in that sort of thing, even if it's a 15-minute fan chat.
Oh yeah.
Until I started going to all these wonderful conventions, like the one at Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame Con.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, but it's great. I just came back from Toronto, and I probably will do, I don't know, 20 events around the world this year in person. But I'm finding that people really want to connect with their favorite actors via StreamYard or Hulu, and or Zoom, and I never knew it, and it's a blast.
What is the website, if you want to plug it, if you could plug it?
I'm not quite sure yet.
Okay.
It's well, believe it or not, robpaulsen.com has been taken. I don't know why. So it'll probably be Rob Paulsen Voices or robpaulsenvoice.com, something like that. But I'm just here. If people follow me on TikTok, I'm Rob Paulsen, Paulsen. 311 because that's my birthday. And then on Facebook, it's Rob Paulsen, voice actor. On Twitter, it's Yakko Pinky, at Yakko Pinky, YAKKOPINKY. And so if anybody follows me on any of those social media platforms, I will absolutely let them know what my new website will be. It should be out probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
So people can follow me. But I'm so looking forward to doing more of this with fans. It's great.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons too is COVID changed the world.
Oh, absolutely. I've been doing a lot of work from home. In fact, we recorded a number of episodes for Pinky and the Brain and Animaniacs on Hulu from home. And I don't like it as much because I really love being around the other actors. It makes me better. But it's cool because we didn't drop the ball. We could keep going.
I gotta tell you, it was nice to be able to binge just all of the new Animaniacs because that news came out while we were all sequestered.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah, and I was like, stop it. There is no way this is coming back in our hour of need.
It's funny you say that because when I was doing interviews before the first 13 came out on Hulu almost 2 years ago, I did say something similar to that. Here we are in an unprecedented circumstance, and I and you are so fortunate to be essentially in the happy business. Our job is to convey joy, touch on things that make people happy and creative and all of that. And boy, talk about getting an opportunity to make lemons out of this crappy lemonade or this pile of lemons that were given to us by COVID.
Yeah.
And here we are, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot and Pinky and the Brain get to come back with this great brand new Acme lemonade that has brought a lot of joy to people. And I'm so proud of the way the reboot went down. It's turned out really well. And I could not be prouder of it.
I got to ask too, how did that come about? Because fans have been asking for a reboot for years, but like after certain childhood niches were rebooted and they bombed, and it was like, this is not, they ruined the soul of the show. We were all worried.
Too.
But then when they announced that you were coming back and the rest of the cast and everybody was coming back, we're like, oh my God.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. You're very perceptive, and I understand. Look, when you're lucky enough to do something like Animaniacs or Pinky and the Brain with the King of Hollywood running the show with Mr. Spielberg and a killer 40-piece orchestra for every bit of music, that's like Looney Tunes, like Carl Stalling, Yakko and Wacko and Dot are running around the lot and the violins are going, it's just fantastic. So to get to do that once is an incredible gift. Then 25 years later, the King of Hollywood calls again and says, Rob, when I see you and Randy Rogel, who wrote United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, and all those great songs, right? Well, Randy and I go around the country doing Animaniacs in concert, and it's so much fun. Well, we had probably, 10 shows that got kiboshed because of COVID. But before COVID happened, we had to get Mr. Spielberg and Warner Brothers, Mr. Spielberg's and Warner Brothers permission to go use bits and pieces of animation from the show and use all the music and do it with symphonies and stuff like that. We had to get permission. So what I think people may understand, but if not, they need to understand that the social media, either thumbs up or thumbs down of Animaniacs in concert or any other things that might be germane to possibly a reboot, folks watch that. Yeah. The people at Warner Brothers Home Entertainment, the people at Amblin, the people who work for Mr. Spielberg, they see this stuff. And especially since we were given permission to go ahead and do what we wanted to do, they say, look at Rob and Randy are going to be with the Colorado Symphony Orchestra. Let's see if some of this ends up online. Oh my God, look, here's Rob singing Yakko's Universe. It's a great big universe, and we're all really puny. We're just tiny little specks about the size of Mickey Rooney. And we're doing it with a big orchestra. And then they see that there are 3,000 people there.
Yeah.
And they freak out. Then they kind of go, wow, maybe we should think about a reboot. But just as you alluded to, there have been a couple of them that kind of went,
yeah.
But most of the time, the reason they go south is because they recast. They maybe don't have the same. They try to change everything to make it a little more relevant.
Yeah.
And so this is really an interesting story, and it's very important vis-a-vis why the show is successful. When there were rumblings about the shows coming back, our concerns, for obvious reasons, were that they'll. In fact, it was Maurice LaMarche, my friend the Brain, called me one day and he said, "Man, I'm so looking forward to this, but Robbie, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they would replace us with celebrities. It happens all the time."
Yeah.
And I'm a capitalist. I get how it works. If you're a movie star and Sarah Quinn says, "You know what? I got $500,000 and I want Brad Pitt to be the talking dragon," I totally get that.
Yeah.
But the characters are famous, not me. Now, it's not false modesty. You're kind enough to talk to me, but I don't write them. I don't draw them. But Mr. Spielberg is the world's most successful nerd. And when that started being talked about, Mo and I were a little concerned that, they'll probably make Peter Dinklage the Brain and Russell Brand as Pinky. And it happens. But because Mr. Spielberg is exactly what I described, he said, and this didn't surprise me because I've had the good fortune of knowing him tangentially, working with him all through the years. But from the beginning, Mr. Spielberg absolutely put the kibosh on our fears, because before the show was pitched, Sarah, he said, all right, if we do this, whomever buys it has to know from the get-go that it's going to be Rob Paulsen as Yakko, Tress MacNeille as Dot, Jess Harnell as Wacko, and Rob and Maurice as Pinky and the Brain, respectively. There's no reason that we should recast.
Thank God.
People love these characters, and these actors are still working every day. So nobody cares that they have gray hair. All they care is, can you still do it? And we can. And Mr. Spielberg, as is often the case, don't bet against Steven, because the show is absolutely wonderful. Again. And I could not be prouder of it. And I have to tell you that I would say, I don't know, 90% of the reviews we got were, wow. I was a little concerned, just like my friend Sarah, but I'll be goddamned. It's really good. The music is spectacular because it's being composed by and large by Steve and Julie Bernstein, who were there when the original composer, I'm sorry, Richard, oh God, I've lost my train of thought. But anyway, they were there, Richard Stone. When Richard was winning Emmys for all the music in Animaniacs, they were there. And so they were charged with composing, all the background music. And Randy Rogel got to write new songs for the new shows. And the people who were inspired by Randy were hired to do a lot of songs. Like there's a great one on the last season where Yakko has
Yakko's Big Idea.
Yes.
It's my favorite one from the newest one.
Long ago, we didn't know that we were all alone. Till the Hubble telescope gave new hope in the Milky Way. So why not try your cosmic sky for your next holiday? That's genius.
Yep.
And it worked out beautifully. So it was absolutely as a result of the edict that came down from Mr. Spielberg, oh, no, 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 no. We don't need to replace these folks. They know exactly what they're doing. The fans love it when they meet them. So why would we replace them? And that was a
Mhm.
very smart call.
No, and you touched on something right there. I feel like there was a moment in the early 2000s and stuff like that with all these new age cartoons of trying to be more careful and tiptoeing around and being scared
Understood.
of pushing the envelope, which in the 90s they were too. Like I've seen interviews about tons of stuff that was nixed from Animaniacs that you guys would improvise, and I'm just like but fingerprints and stuff like that
Right.
made it in.
But we got through it. And I remember the day we recorded that episode 27 years ago. I don't know. Sitting next to Tress McNeil, I just love her so much. I've known Tress for 42 years since she was a
Wow.
cocktail waitress. And I remember saying, "Oh my God, honey, fingerprints? There's no way. They're not going to happen." Who knew? And
Right.
that really was something. And I got to say that with the PC crowd and all of that, we've still gotten away with quite a few pretty clever inside baseball jokes. We still take the piss out of sacred cows.
Yeah.
The 45th president of the United States
Oh yeah, my God.
included. And I just am so proud of the new episodes. The third season of which I think is probably dropping in November of this year on Hulu. So stay tuned, as it were. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think for people like you who are we're in the same business, and fans around the world had a reason to be concerned. Mm-hmm. I totally get it. And it was a huge relief to all of us when we saw it and we said, "Oh my God, they really nailed it. They got it down."
The day that it came out, I texted my little brother, and
Oh,
I was like, "All right, here we go, man." Like, and we watched, and we were like, "What do you think?" And he's like, "I love it." I'm like, "I do too. They did it right."
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
that's so great to hear, kiddo.
Now I have a question. It's going back a little bit, but you talked about like you're going to start voice coaching on your website and stuff like that, and I wanted to ask you. I saw one of your more recent works is you're on Rise of TMNT.
And that's correct.
Yes, you were the voice director. Yes. And I was surprised to see that. I was like, yeah. And so I just wanted to ask like how that came about and what made you be like, you know what? I want to try directing and voicing the youngins coming in.
Thank you so much for asking. I was, as you may and some of your viewers may know, I was Raphael in the original show when you were a little girl, or probably before you were born.
Before I was born, but I still watched it.
Quite people don't know this. I was the entertainment at the Last Supper. In those days, I was Shecky of Arimathea. Jesus, what a party that was.
You were the guy that was cropped out of the Last Supper painting.
I was pretty steamed about it for a long time.
Yeah.
But people don't know, who weren't there, because I was. We were doing karaoke, and Judas is kind of a smart ass, and he chose to do Backstabbers, which I thought was, an interesting choice. Nonetheless, here we are all these years later, and I not only got to be Raphael on the original TMNT, but I got to be Donatello on a later iteration of the show on Nickelodeon in 2012. Mm-hmm. So when that was coming to an end, a terrific fellow named Gene Vassileros, who was the head of casting at Nickelodeon, came to me, because Nickelodeon now owns all the rights to Turtles, Lock, Stock, and Turtle Van. And he said, "Hey, Robbie, have you ever thought about directing cartoons?" And I said, "Not really, and for no other reason other than I've gotten to work with the best directors, Andrea Romano and Gordon Hunt and Ginny McSwain and Sue Blue, all these wonderful, Charlie Adler. But I would certainly love a crack at it. I just never thought it was something that would come into my sort of purview." Yeah. And he said, "Well, there's a new 2D version of Turtles coming back at Nickelodeon here. And your name came out the other day because we were chatting about who to hire as the voice director. And Tom Kenny, who is the glorious actor who does SpongeBob and has done for years, now directs the show. and has for, I think for, I don't know, 3 or 4 seasons, maybe longer, but it's worked out beautifully. So when your name came up, it was in the context of, well, there aren't too many actors in town who have more turtle DNA in them than Rob Paulsen. He's been 2 different turtles, and if he lives to be 100, maybe I can knock them all out. So we thought we'd ask you if you're interested. And I said, well, sure, I would love to give it a crack. And I really enjoyed it, Sarah. It worked out well. The folks who produced the show could not have been nicer and kinder. And I said to them right from the get-go, look, I am utterly egoless in this pursuit. I'm smart enough to know what I don't know. And let's give this 6 or 7 episodes, and let's talk after we've done the first few and see what you think. I don't want you to have any problem saying, Rob, we love you, but it's just not. I would say, no problem. I totally get it. But it didn't happen. They came back and we chatted, and I said, well, I'm having a blast. Are you happy with the way it's going? They said, yes. So I said, then let's keep it up. And I really enjoyed it. So thank you for asking. It's something that I would love to do more of. I just, in fact, directed a little pilot for a studio that's going to pitch it to a couple of streaming platforms. And they called me as a result of Turtles. So why not? I'm happy to do more of it. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really cool. I love to see that, the evolution of people's careers and branching out and stuff like that. I just feel like it's a natural fit because when you think about it, when you're in the experience and you're in the thick of it and stuff, you get the skills of the people that are coaching you and give you direction because it's just your experience. You may not think of yourself in that role, but it was the same thing when I became a manager. It's like, you've been doing it for years. It just makes sense.
Yeah. That's right. Do you manage comedians or actors or other voice talent? Or?
No, so I'm actually, not only am I an on-air personality, but I am the marketing director of an entire cluster of radio stations.
What? So, for iHeart?
Yes, for iHeart.
My Sarah, God bless you. What a cool gig.
It's cool. So I get to, what I tell everybody is I get to make silly voices and fart noises on air, and then I get to be the boss behind the scenes.
What a gig. And as you say, who better? And my God, talk about a big outfit. iHeart is enormous.
I know. It's pretty cool.
That is so great. The fact, I mean, how wonderful that big outfit would have confidence in you. What an incredible boon to you.
I'm sorry. I'm blushing because Rob Paulsen is giving me a good job. So hold on.
No, my God. I was born at night, but not last night, man. I know how it works. And if you are getting the thumbs up from iHeartRadio, folks, I don't know if you're too much about inside baseball, but that's a huge deal for Sarah Quinn to be the person whom they choose. That's really huge, kiddo. Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you.
Great.
But yeah, no, and it's true. It's you don't realize what boxes you can check that you already have in your toolbox. I like to call it my toolbox.
Spot on.
Yeah, that you can just go like, yeah, you know what? That's a natural move for me. And it just makes sense to add it to your repertoire and then explore yourself more. I don't think you should ever stop learning and growing or trying new things. It doesn't matter.
100%. In fact, boy, it's no wonder you got that gig because you're pretty sharp. Not surprisingly. In fact, years ago, just after Paul Newman died, I remember reading an article. It was the last interview he gave. And in it, he said, he was 82, I think, at the time. And he said, I really don't think I started to get it until I was about 70 in terms of acting. And it's precisely because he did exactly what you just said and what your ethos is. Never stop exploring. And I haven't. I really believe that I'm better than I was 2 years ago, certainly better than I was when Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain came out the first time.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't rest on my laurels. It's because I don't say, all right, come on, I've got a couple thousand half hours. I've won an Emmy. I've won a Peabody. I've got blah, 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 blah. I know what I'm doing. Well, I do. But I also know that there's a hell of a lot more to learn. And I don't ever want to get to the place where I think, yeah, you got this knocked into a cocked hat, asshole. You really got this going. I don't know it all. I am always thrilled to meet and learn from younger folks. And when I get a chance to have a delightful chat with someone like you who is really killing it, I'm an idiot if I don't want to talk to Sarah Quinn, because I never know. It's really interesting. Inspiration, I believe, just like love, comes from the most unexpected places.
Oh, yeah.
You're a complete fool if you don't open your mind and your heart up to love, learning, finding ways to hone your skill, your talent. So yeah, I may be dumb, but I'm not stupid, and I don't want to ever close myself off to learning about life in general, including how to be a better actor.
I love that. And what you just said kind of reflects. So one of the reasons why I look up to you as a performer is you have a kindness that you exude. You exude kindness. You do. And it's very special. And it makes you feel the warm fuzzies even from far away. And it's just like, that's a person that I want to aspire to be like. And also I want to support in their career. And I'm interested in what they do and how they do it. Is there some sort of like a life, I call them mantras, that you go by, that, it's something that you try to stick to, or in times that's tough that you're like, you know what, and you remember this mantra, whether you're inspired by somebody or by happenstance or you read it. Is there something that is your mantra that you like to go by?
Boy, it's no wonder that you got the gig you have. You know exactly what you're doing. And I have been interviewed a lot, folks. It's not surprising at all, truly, that you are as successful as you are, Sarah. I do, in fact. Years ago, when I was a kid, there was a sort of small magazine that was available, by subscription through the mail, or you found it all the time in doctors' offices and whatever. It was called Reader's Digest.
Yeah.
Okay, and I remember, because I'm prone to humor. I just love to laugh, and I love people who make folks laugh for a living. There was in every issue there was a compendium of new jokes written, and it was called "Laughter is the Best Medicine." And so I appropriated that, and I said, "Laughter is the best medicine." The cool thing is you can't OD and the refills are free.
It really is.
And that's exactly the mantra by which I live my life. I don't take myself seriously at all. I take my work seriously. But man, I don't know everything. I don't know how to do it right the first time. I'd be an idiot if I closed myself off and allowed my ego to get in the way of learning from new talent, many of whom approach me now just like you have, in the most kind way that I never would have expected. Saying, I got to tell you, Rob, I grew up watching The Tick, The Mask, Animaniacs, Jimmy Neutron, Pinky and the Brain, you name it, on and on and on and on and on. And I'm such a fan. And then I'll work with this person and I'm going, oh my God, this kid is freaky good. I want to work with this kid more because I'm learning how something that maybe I didn't know. And, my friend, we are so in this together. And if we don't know it now, after COVID, we're never going to know it. We are so connected for the betterment of our individual selves, and sometimes it can be deleterious. The internet is a magical place, but I think that there should be a big caveat emptor before you start diving into the internet. there's a lot of great stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that's absolutely monstrous
Mhm.
in what it espouses. And so there is more personal responsibility now than ever before in terms of what you can learn and what you should uh, propagate and promulgate on your own and on your own, website. Um, and you can also take advantage of, just like you said a bit earlier, that the creativity that's out there.
Yeah.
My God, I'll be just going through YouTube, or somebody like Sarah, maybe your age, says, "My God, Rob, have you seen this?" And I'll like, Jesus, God Almighty, where did those kids come from? They're so freaking talented, and it's inspiring.
Yeah.
And even at my age, I don't want to stop being inspired. I certainly want to hopefully inspire more people. And if you're nice enough to give me a few minutes on your show, the thing that I would like to leave people with the very most is something that might be inspirational or helpful, or a piece of advice that perhaps they could use. And my mantra is exactly that, man. When things are rough, find a way to laugh. It's the
Mhm.
best thing in the world. If you got to take the piss out of yourself, then do it. And you can do it all day long. It makes me happier and healthier. And I don't have to get a doctor's prescription to do it. It's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, I love that because and you're right. We do have a responsibility, especially us as content creators.
Mhm.
You have a choice. Every single time you press that post button, you can either be a force of change and good, and you can be a voice for people that need a voice, and you can help push for people that need help, or you can uplift things that will get you clicks and views, but it will help perpetuate this toxic cycle. And that is one of the
Amen.
things, in our lives. I feel like creators that set out to break that toxic cycle and
Right.
acknowledge, you know what? No, I
Amen.
think I want to fill up this category that people will be reflective afterwards, and maybe will hear a message that of something they need to hear, or I can be an escape for 5 seconds, or they'll feel like they have a friend. I think I want to do that.
Oh God.
Um, you
Good for
know,
you. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. That's so important, and I can't say good for you enough. I often, when at live events, just this weekend, it happened in Toronto,
mm,
160,000 people. Uh, and what's so great about, just like the Hall of Fame con coming up, I and my friend Maurice will leave that wonderful event, just like every other, utterly exhausted from saying thank you. How much better can life be? You show up, people drive or fly or take a bus, whatever. They pay whatever it costs to get in. They find your little signing table. They wait sometimes for an hour or
yeah,
maybe longer. And when they get up to you, all they want to say is, "Thank you so much for bringing joy to me and my mom and dad and my brother and sister." And that in itself is the most profound compliment a content creator slash actor, singer, on air personality could ever receive. Then I'll meet people who will come up to me and say, "You know what, Rob? Um, Unlike the last 10 people I've seen you speaking to, I overheard, and I'm here to tell you that but for Pinky
mm,
and the Brain or Animaniacs or Goof Troop or whatever, um, my childhood was in a freaking dumper. I had my mother was a drug addict. I never met my
mhm,
father. My mother was not present. We were kind of left to our own devices. And I got to tell you, man, Ninja freaking Turtles taught me the value of family, taught me the value of watching each other's back. And
oof,
so I watched my little brother's back. And I am now, and here, this is my family. I've been married for 12 years to the same woman. We have 3 kids, and every one of them loves Ninja Turtles. And the guy's, 40 years old, and he's dressed in his Ninja Turtle stuff. And he comes up to me and he's doing this.
Oh,
And he said, you just don't know what Ninja Turtles means to me. And then his wife is kind of going, yeah, you really don't, Mr. Paulsen. When we found out that you were going to be here, my husband said, I have to meet this guy. Because I need to tell him what Ninja Turtles means to me and will mean to him till he dies.
yeah.
Are you effing kidding me? I would never have known that because it's a fairly anonymous profession until nice people like Sarah and others are kind enough to draw attention. And then people say, oh my God, that's the guy who does Pinky. Jesus, I got to meet him because, and the brain, I got to meet these guys because when I did my 3 tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan, I took my Pinky and the Brain DVDs with me. And our job was to go out on patrol and kill the bad guys and not be killed ourselves. And then we would come back after being on patrol for a week. And then we get 3 or 4 days to chill back at camp. And man, I got a lot of beer and Pinky and the goddamn Brain. And I watched it till I laughed my guts out. So I got to tell him are you kidding me, Sarah? This happens to me all the time. I've won the freaking lottery.
Yeah.
Look at you. Look at your beautiful, sweet face. Look at the effect that those authentic, truthful stories have on you because you are by nature, and most performers are, a very sensitive person. And so you can relate, maybe not in exactly the same context, but you can relate in the same way to the extent that, hello, nurse, what it does to your face.
Yeah.
And so to have that in the person of people who will drive and do whatever it takes to tell you, you got to know what these characters mean. And not just me, all of us. Futurama, Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, The Simpsons.
Yeah.
All our friends, my friends and I talk about this all the time. Like, Jesus, we've all made a nice living, but this is way bigger than my mortgage payment. This is about a connection that I never in a million years would have known were it not for the kindness of people like Sarah and folks who invite me to conventions and allow me the privilege of seeing how this works. It's unbelievable, Sarah.
It's kind of cool because when you think about it, your job is inspiration and hope.
Happy business.
Yeah. You're the happiness business, but it's deeper than that because happiness is up here, but it's the inspiration and the hope business. Like, not a lot of people get to say that, and that's that's pretty cool.
Oh my goodness, it's beyond cool. And I always love a chance to speak to the collective fan base out there, because you guys got to know that the folks who do this work, and Sarah's, and we're all in the same gig. We're not movie stars. We all make a nice living. I'm becoming recognizable more and more because of the internet and doing a lot of personal appearances. But the bottom line is, whenever anybody recognizes me, all it does is make them happy. Excuse me, are you Rob Paulsen? I said, I am. Are you with the IRS or what? No, but I got to tell you, I recognize you from a TV interview I saw. If I could tell you what Pinky and the Brain, hey, God, really? Narf, boom. I got him. I just got him. And that's all they want to hear. And they laugh. Sometimes they cry. Sometimes they just get, wow, I don't know why I'm getting so. I do. I know exactly why. Because the characters connect you with some of your earliest, most profound, wonderful memories. And it's never not magical when that happens. But we all, to a man and woman, get who butters our bread. It's not because we're famous. It's because the characters have connected, and it takes a lot of people to get that right. And so all of us are so grateful, and it is nothing short of a privilege to be in this position. I often meet people on the autism spectrum who, for whatever reason, you've probably experienced this too, who, for whatever reason, maybe were even nonverbal till they were 5, 6, 7 years old. Can you imagine how that tears up parents who want to do whatever it takes to get their little girl or little boy as neurotypical as possible so people don't look at them sideways every goddamn day, so that when they start to realize that, God, I'm not going to live forever. What's going to happen to my baby? And for some reason or another, this young man or woman connects with Sarah Quinn, or connects with Yakko, or connects with Bart Simpson, or whatever. And then they'll bring this young man or woman to meet me, and they're standing behind their sweet boy or girl who, is doing this because they're very nervous about being in spaces with a lot of other people.
Overstimulation.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But by God, they want to meet Yakko. I don't think they know Rob Paulsen. Mom and Dad might, but we're going to take our little boy to meet Yakko, because at least at an event like Hall of Fame Con, or virtually any con, it is all about inclusion. It is all about, I don't care what you look like. I don't care where you're from. Your cosplay is so cool, and you feel free enough to be utterly expressive. And for God's sake, if I bring my 30-year-old son who's having an overstimulation issue, and he's in the line freaking out because he just wants to meet Yakko, but at least here, nobody's going to look at him sideways. Yeah. Nobody's going to look at a young man or woman who is kind of having a come apart and needs to step outside, and people will help them. They're not going to look at him weird. Mm-hmm. Man, when that young man or woman gets up to Yakko and I say, "Hello, Anthony, how you doing, buddy?" Shoot, all of a sudden, he is focused. And a young man who a minute before was in tears because he's so his ADHD is making him nuts, and mom and dad are just, we'll get there. And then boom, all of a sudden that goes away. And Yakko talks to him for 3 or 4 minutes, and he's like everybody else.
Yeah.
He talks, he relates, he sings the songs with me. He knows everything about that character, and his gift all of a sudden reveals itself. Now, he might have trouble buying a Slurpee, but all of a sudden in this circumstance, he's not only fine, he's really great, man. Yeah. He's expressive, he's happy, his parents are in tears, and I don't even know how to quantify that gift. Yeah. I will never forget those things, and they happen all the time. So I wanted to do it as long as I can, because trust me, I get way more out of it than the young man and their parents. It literally changes my perception about what I do in Hollywood and how important my work is. And I've realized that, you know what? This is pretty important. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was, but it really keeps a lot of people maybe centered, and it gives them a little bit of joy, just like what you do. And then you find out, and man, does it make you lay awake at night and just say, holy smoke, thank you for allowing me this privilege of seeing what happens when I do my gig.
Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah, no, it is. You're making me think so I have a gentleman, his name is Michael.
Uh-huh.
And he wrote a lot of letters to the station. And when I started working, I'm like, all these letters, I see that they're unanswered. So, we got in touch. All he wanted was radio stickers. That's all Michael wanted. So I said, okay, honey. And so we gave him 3 stickers out of our 5 stations because the other 2 didn't have any. We sent him a shirt. That's it. Now I get a phone call from Michael every day at around 1:40 telling me that I'm doing a good job. He requests a song that unfortunately I can't play, but I told him that if I could, I would. And then we talk for about 15 minutes, and then I say, okay, buddy, I got to get back on the air. And that happens every day or every other day. He's a sweetheart, but it takes nothing to be kind. It takes nothing to be kind and take literally 5 minutes out of your day and to be kind to somebody. It takes absolutely nothing.
Dude, now I'm getting all misty. And yeah, must be the air. No, and that, how much more profound a compliment could you receive,
Yeah.
Sarah? I I don't even, and your parents must be so unbelievably proud of you because yeah, you're beautiful. Yeah, you're talented. So what? There are a lot of people who do that. I live in Hollywood, for God's sake. Not everybody has what you have. Not everybody has that sort of innate gift of empathy and saying, I'm going to talk to Michael because I know that gentleman lives
Yeah.
to talk to Sarah Quinn and, and is included. And you're right, it takes nothing, but you've
Mhm.
changed his life and you
Mhm.
probably have changed the lives of people who love him because they go, do you know what? This sweet Sarah Quinn talks to Michael every day. And the change in that boy, I can't even tell you how much happier he is, which makes my life better because I see how much happier Michael is. It
Mhm.
really is a butterfly effect.
It
And
is.
the fact that you do that is not surprising because I've gotten to know you and it's pretty clear what you're about, but it's important. And so when you have this bully pulpit and you can tell people about that, we know that there are others who will say, you know what, I'm gonna do that too. Or
Mhm.
I did that. I forgot how good I feel after I take a little time with someone. I'm gonna do that too. And it's a big deal that you did that. It's
Mhm.
wonderful you did that.
Now, are there, because we're talking about like interacting with people and helping people, are there any nonprofits that you've worked with in the past that you would love to give a shout out to and be like, if you're looking for someone to support or follow,
Yeah.
these people are the good works that are out there in your communities and making a difference on the
Thank
ground level?
Thank you. Yeah, well, a couple, some of which are very well known. Sadly, because there are a lot of people that suffer from what they're helping. I had a little bout with throat cancer a few years ago, and I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah, we
Um,
were all worried there.
well, yeah, I mean, trust me, the cosmic irony of that was not lost on me. It wasn't hair cancer or eyebrow cancer; it was freaking throat cancer. But I'm fine. So there's a lovely little, well, obviously the American Cancer Society. Then there's a subgroup that I've been a spokestune for a few years called the Head and Neck Cancer Alliance, headandneck.org. 600,000 people a year worldwide are diagnosed with tongue cancer, throat cancer, cancer of the tonsil. It's not Gene Siskel, his partner, Roger Ebert sadly passed away of throat cancer, and
Mm.
he didn't get it till it was pretty far gone. And I don't know if you folks remember, but he had virtually half his face removed before he passed away. It's pretty brutal because it's an ugly cancer is always ugly, but when they have to start removing part of this or that, it's really nasty. So anyway, I'm fine. So headandneck.org. Also Operation Smile. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's a fabulous organization uh, in which boys and girls who are born with a cleft palate,
Mm.
uh, and often they essentially have a big hole in their face.
Yeah.
And Operation Smile is a group of brilliant maxillofacial surgeons who provide their services for free, and they fly around, both in America and fly around the world to underprivileged areas and countries, and they, with about $200 worth of needle and thread and what medical equipment, they do it for free and they literally sew up people's faces so they can
Wow.
smile. And when you see the before and after pictures, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
It's obviously looks awful, but it's unhealthy because you can't really eat. And if
Yeah.
you do, and you've got a hole that goes into your sinus cavities, so you got a real problem.
Yeah.
Man, Sarah, when you see these sweet babies and little boys and little girls who are essentially relegated to the trash heap of humanity, and somebody takes their time and stitches them up, my goodness. Uh, Folks like us are in the business of making people smile, just like you do
Yeah.
with my. And that's one that I do a lot for. I'm a very big supporter of the military. I do a number of things with uh, the Wounded Warrior Project, the USO. So those are some that are important to me. But there are so many opportunities now online. So just as they say, give till it hurts, whatever it is. And it doesn't always have to be money. Certainly, we all need as much dough as we can get. But just like you, there are people who need human contact. They need just the simplest expressions of basic human kindness. And whether it's going to read for the old folks or recording books for the blind, or we know now that autism is both a challenge, but also if you're willing to help out, you can find young men and women. Sometimes they're grown-ups, but you can find ways to help them determine their gift. Changes their lives. They are utterly effusive and ebullient and joyful. And look, man, if my kid had that issue and somebody found a way to help him do like what you've done with Michael, I would be eternally in your debt. I would say I can't do enough and say enough about iHeartRadio and Sarah Quinn, because she took it upon herself to help my boy. Whatever it is. So there are just so many ways to do it. And just like you said beautifully, it just doesn't take that much. And I guarantee you that once you do it, you will get such an incredible emotional remuneration that makes you end up being a better human. You end up being better at your job. You end up being a better husband, boyfriend, mother. You just are. Because you see the effects of simple human kindness, something that we can all do together, and it's beautiful that you're able to help people find that, Sarah.
Doing good acts helps build up, I think, just inside.
Right.
If you keep actions while speaking and giving a voice is important, actions speak louder than words. And if you keep doing those actions and they go to the fiber of being, it's like leveling up.
It is. We're in the game culture. It totally is. It's like leveling up. You get better, and everybody feels better about it. And it's not a secret. It's not unusual. Everybody knows that it's better to give than to receive. And I know exactly what they're talking about. Obviously, I've been rich and I've been poor, and rich is way better. No. But the things that I can do that have nothing to do with money, it's nice to be able to write a big check. But locally, there are things you can do that really will change your life because of your desire to be, to give of yourself. And
whether it's volunteering or there's tons of opportunities. You can literally go to Google and just say volunteer near me. And
yep, absolutely. It's the greatest thing in the world. I'm really blessed and fortunate that I have opportunities like this convention in Canton where I can go and do it in real time. But man, that's why I love doing them. I can't do it enough, because there will come a time when I won't be able to do it for just obvious reasons if I live to be as old as I'd like. But right now, man, I can kill it. Ain't nobody stopping me from getting out of the plane. Doesn't matter how old Pinky gets. He loves to fly. Nerve. See everybody. It's great. So I just love it. And Carl will show up too and bring his own croissant for you to finish.
Oh my God. Okay. I have 5 random questions to ask you. 5.
Great.
Okay.
Fire away.
First one. What is a skill you don't have but you wish you had?
I wish that I were well, let's see. I'm a skill that I don't have. Speaking another language. I really do, and it's my own damn fault. My grandparents from both sides, on my dad's side, they came from Denmark, and on my mother's side, they came from Macedonia, Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And both of my parents spoke another language, and I never took advantage of that. So that's another skill. But that's something I have no excuse, but I totally think that would be great to speak another language. Yes.
Download Rosetta Stone. My boyfriend speaks 2, and now he's learning Ukrainian and Russian. So
Good for him.
I know.
Wow, that's great, man. So did he try Babel too, or did he just do Rosetta
I
Stone?
know he does Rosetta Stone. He speaks fluent Spanish and some Czech and some Polish, but Rosetta Stone, he says, is the best way to go.
Is he? Does he have a Slavic background?
No, he's from
Wow.
Ohio.
Interesting. I know there are a lot of people, and I grew up in Detroit, and there are a lot of Polish people and Greek people and Ukrainian folks and stuff. But yeah, I think that I'll do that. I will check that out because that is one skill I do not possess, which I should.
Yeah. All right, number 2, your dream Halloween costume that you don't have the guts to wear.
Well, I would like to dress up as Sarah Quinn, but there's no way that I could do her justice. So I can't cosplay as Sarah. I've never done cosplay. I see it all the time, and I'm so blown away by the creativity.
Yeah.
I think that I would like to cosplay as Batman, but
Oh,
I am of the belief, having been to so many cons now, that that oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? The spandex.
yeah.
I am of the belief that spandex should be a privilege, not a right. Were I to shove my body into a spandex outfit, it would be just this. There's a fine line, Sarah, between funny and felony,
No.
and mine would fall on the latter.
No. Cosplay. No. Comic Cons are an accepting place. So I think if you show up in spandex, we will all support you, and we will be like, yes, sir. May we have another? Thank you very much.
Well, what you will probably, because you are so sweet, you would say, "Oh, that poor man." No, Rob, you look great. You look great, Rob. Good for you. And then you would go somewhere and say, "Oh my God, does that man not have a mirror in his house?" Bless his heart.
We'll just give you a couple accessories. It'll be fine.
Fair enough. All right. Good for you.
All right. Number 3. What is your favorite curse word that isn't a curse word?
Oh, Nerf.
Okay. I knew it because I have a question for you separate from this. Have you ever, like, in your daily life, you knock into something and you exclaim, you like exclaim in pinky talk? Like, have you ever just?
Well, I do. I have before when I get a little out of control and I say, "God, just a nerfing car would make me crazy." So I don't say it in front of somebody whom I don't want to offend.
Right.
But yeah, that's a good one because it could be construed as an epithet or a swear word. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nerf.
When I was little, there was a phase when I would run into things, I would exclaim as Pinky and I would say Narf. Yeah. When I was little, when I was a little girl, every now and then, like, I would run into something, I'd go Narf, and my mom would be like, "Stop it."
Oh my God.
I would do it in public. It didn't matter.
How precious that. Well, I played a character years ago on Tiny Toon Adventures called Foulmouth, Fowl, not Foul. And I'm sorry, no, Foul, not foul like chicken. He was a little chicken, and it was Foulmouth, Foul. And he talked like this, and he swore a lot, and it was all, but they would bleep it out.
Yeah.
Why, you, for 2 cents I'd beep, and I would kick your beep from here to beep, and I'm going to tell you, don't you beep and come with me, which I'm going to bury you. I'm going to treat you like a rented mule, you beeping mother peeper, you know. And it was a great character, but yeah, that was, I was already predisposed to using a made-up word to swear.
That's fabulous. Okay. Number 4.
Yeah.
If you were a Pokemon, what would your battle cry be?
My battle cry would have to be, "Hello, nurse."
Oh my God. Could you imagine that?
Yeah. I'm going to kick your ass. "Hello, nurse."
Rob, use growl. Hello.
Hello, nurse. Yeah. I can even do it. "Hello, nurse."
There's a new Pokemon game.
Power. Yeah.
There's a new Pokemon game coming out this year, and I hope that they see this.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, there's another one coming out, which is crazy because there was already one this year. I'm gonna go on a tangent about Pokemon Focus. Well, okay, long story short, there's already been 2 Pokemon games this year. It's never happened where 2 mainline games have been released. And now another one is coming out, I think in November or October.
Interesting.
Something. But yeah, and now it's like the internet's in an uproar because it's never happened.
It's interesting you say that because my son Ash is in the video game business, and he has his own YouTube channel with his buddies called Good Vibes Gaming. You should definitely check it out on YouTube. But
absolutely,
it's really interesting because he was in the video game business. I am not a gamer. I've done voices on a couple of them, but I never knew, and you probably are aware of this. I honestly, Sarah, never knew that there was so much rancor, especially focused or generated towards women by male gamers online.
I used to stream to Twitch until very recently. I had a Twitch show.
Oh my
and
God.
One of the reasons I stopped, there were many reasons. It was like an onion. It had layers. But one of the big ones was I was tired of having to prove myself. I was tired of having to deal with the harassment. I was tired.
I had no idea. And my son said, I am so bleeping sick of this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And same with his buddies. So he said, we're going to start. He used to be one of the writers and on-air person, on camera personalities for a big gaming website called Game Explain. And and he got a couple of his buddies together and said, you know what, screw this. We're going to start our own. So it's called Good Vibes Gaming, and it is all about inclusivity. They absolutely will take you down if you're one of those people that espouses the stuff that made you leave. And it's a fantastic thing. They've got just over 100,000 subscribers now, and they've only been doing it for a few months, but it's all about inclusion. It is all about gaming is for everybody. And I'm really proud of these guys. They're doing a great job. But that was something I had absolutely no idea about. He said, oh, Dad, it's so disgusting. You see, girls that are tearful because all they want to do is play games. And some of these guys are real assholes, and they can do it with complete impunity because, in the old days, if somebody does something like that, you find out and say, hey, man, if you talk like that to my girlfriend, I'm going to bop you.
Right.
Now they get away with just the most horrible, awful things that they say primarily to women. And it's disgusting.
You need to tell Ash that I love him. I'm going to follow him as soon as we're done. But no, it's true. And like as a Twitch streamer too, like Twitch, the community as a whole, it's the same because it's a lot of gamers on there, and we are constantly, or if we do find success, well, it's because you're pretty. And it's like,
sure.
All right, that's fine, man. You know what? It's good. It's good. I'm just going to keep playing Animal Crossing by myself. It's cool.
Well, good for you, kiddo. And just please check it out. And your fans, if you are running into the same thing, I'm sure there are others out there, but Ash Paulsen and his buddies have good GVG Official is their Twitter handle, GVG Official, and it's Good Vibes Gaming on YouTube. You'll love it.
All right, last question.
Yeah.
If you were not a voice actor, what would you be doing?
A hockey player. The only other thing I wanted to be when I grew up in Michigan, and the only thing I wanted to be other than an actor was a hockey player for the Detroit Red Wings. I got as far as junior hockey and got to college, and I realized that I had neither the talent nor temperament nor dental insurance to make a nickel as a hockey player. So and then maybe I could have been come and played for the Columbus Blue Jackets or, the folks that are down the road.
Yeah.
But I'm a hockey fanatic, and I still played with a bunch of my friends out here in Burbank. There are a bunch of us from back in that neck of the woods, and we go around and bang around in the rink. In fact, I talk about it in my TED Talk. I have a TED Talk on YouTube in which I discussed.
You did a TED Talk?
Yeah, it was great fun. TEDx in Detroit. And I talk about a lot of what we were discussing today, how how deeply powerful laughter and joy is.
Yeah.
And I let people know that the only other thing I wanted to be with as an actor was a hockey player for the Detroit Red Wings. But yeah, that's my passion. Cars, maybe a Formula One driver, but I would have better luck at being a hockey player.
What's the coolest? Oh, wait, do you own cars too?
I do. I only have one. I'm lucky enough that I can afford one badass car at a time. I've had a lot of great ones. And now I have to say the car I have at the moment is probably, no, it is. It is the best all-around automobile I have ever had in my life. It's just a fantastic automobile.
I don't know car models, but what color is it?
It's silver. It is
Oh, yeah.
it's a Mercedes. The Mercedes has a sports car high performance
Yeah.
subset called AMG. And so I have an AMG Mercedes GTC coupe
Wow.
in silver. It's a 2-seater and it's the best, most badass car I've ever had in my life. It's wonderful.
Well, Rob, thank you so much for taking so much time to talk with me today. This is literally, you were on my top 5 lifetime list of people to interview, and now I'm down 1.
Well,
so
and I cannot tell you, I think you know me well enough now to know that my excitement in speaking with you and your audience is utterly authentic. I love these opportunities. And thank you for lowering your broadcast standards for an old guy from Detroit and a stupid loudmouse. But no, all of us, Pinky and Yakko, Raphael, Donatello, Carl, PJ, also Snowball from Rick and Morty, who's still searching for his testicles.
Whoa, wait, you did Snowball? How did I not know this? I'm a huge Rick and Morty fan. I'm gonna die. Oh my God.
My first line as Snowball is, "Where are my testicles, Summer?" And if in your travels you happen upon my testicles, I would appreciate if you return them to Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon. It would make me very happy.
I'm dying. I love you so much. Oh my God.
Oh, I love you too.
Okay. All right. And where can they, once again, give me your plugs of where can they follow you to find out when your website's going to be launched in a couple weeks and all of that.
Okay, great. At Yakko Pinky on Twitter, all one word, lowercase YAKKOPINKY. Rob Paulsen, but it was PAULSEN. Rob Paulsen, voice actor on Facebook. Rob _ Paulsen on Instagram, and Rob Paulsen, all one word, lowercase 311. That's my birthday on TikTok. So I'm probably about 2-3 weeks away from launching the website, and I'll be doing, as I said, stuff like this for not nearly as long. But if folks want to talk to me and ask me about stuff, or a fan just wants to chat and have me do a voicemail for them as Pinky or whatever. And then I'm going to be coaching for folks who are interested in voice acting. And there will be a lot of people out there who are already professional, folks who want to know more about how I do what I do. I'm going to be doing a lot of that there too as well. So please check it out. And thank you so much, Sarah. You are just a delight. And I am so thrilled that you gave me so much time. It's been a blast.
Thank you. And I'm looking forward to meeting you at the Hall of Fame City Comic Con October 1st, Canton Memorial Civic Center from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
I'll be there, my friend. You take good care of yourself, all right?
Bye.
Good night, everybody.